Guys, hello. So the host of this session just sent me a message that we should just start. My name is Yanni. I'm the founder of Eternity blockchain as well as of superhero.com. My full name is Yanislav Malahov. Um, and yeah, I planned a more interactive session, meaning you guys are invited to ask questions anytime, to also interrupt me and to give you a little bit of a introduction of how I think that social networks should work in the future, as well as I'm gonna show a little bit how we think that we are matching these requirements. And yes, my name is Yanislav Malahov, and I'm in the crypto space, in the blockchain space for quite a while now. I came in with essentially Bitcoin many years ago. This was just the third halving now, which we experienced earlier this week. Quite exciting, and many things have changed since then, and many blockchains have been launched, many tokens have been launched, many of them have failed, and still some of them are quite, let's say, sticky. And I think Bitcoin has shown how essentially future decentralized peer-to-peer open source systems can work or should work with blockchain and cryptography and all of this open source and collaboratively done on the internets, or working together across all different or many different countries, as well as being able to interact with people from all around the world. So Bitcoin is maybe just the implication for blockchain technology, but it's a quite crucial one. And I think on the full, let's say, Web 2.0 world, including Facebook and Instagram and other big applications from that area, from the .com boom as well as afterwards, will be kind of rewritten to be more crypto secure, or to be generally working with cryptography, and to be also more open source, since it's kind of like public infrastructure what these platforms enable. So yeah, this was a little excursion to the history and where I'm from, essentially. But originally, what's quite interesting is that I found out about Bitcoin through Googling for cryptocurrency very early on. Through my background with computer science studies, I knew that yeah, we were gonna need cryptography to build a cryptocurrency, and my original motivation was to essentially have a cryptocurrency for social networks, for social platforms. And yeah, found out about Bitcoin. This was essentially almost 10 years ago. And initially I was just looking at it and following it, but then after some time I bought tiny bit amount of Bitcoin and experienced the almost full, let's say, history of Bitcoin quite hands-on, as well as working closely with other other community members. For example, early on with Vitalik Buterin from the Ethereum project, as well as Gavin Wood from the Ethereum project. And I founded afterwards Aeternity, mostly because I thought we could do much better with crypto technology and having a more advanced, more scalable, private, as well as governable smart contract platform like Eternity. So smart contract platform is not exactly a social network, but it has already a few, let's say, centerpieces which are quite useful for future generations of social networks, such as identities and timestamps and value transfer, as well as cryptography. The cryptography can be used to sign messages as well as to encrypt messages for end-to-end communication or secure group communication. And yeah, there are lots of different projects which go into this direction, with essentially trying to implement a social network in combination with crypto and blockchain technology. And yeah, so crypto is definitely one thing which is very useful to have in the future, end-to-end secure crypto, as well as some sort of time stamping system, a ledger where everything of public importance can be time stamped for a public community. Of course, if it's more private stuff which needs to be transferred, especially information, then maybe it's not a good idea to timestamp it on a public blockchain. This is just the nature of things. Still, cryptography empowers also people to essentially, yeah, just use the things to stay more private or more public as they like. So value transfer is definitely related to this. In every social network, some value somehow gets transferred, usually in the case of, let's say, the existing social media, for example, in Facebook, the user becomes the product, and the value doesn't get transferred to the user, but advertisers transfer value to Facebook, as well as to essentially yeah, mostly to Facebook, I guess. With YouTube, they also split the profit, I think, with the creators of the videos. And there are many more examples of so-called or such Web 2.0 social networks where the value transfer is really broken, where the intermediary, the social network, takes a huge cut. And this can be also fixed with public open source blockchain infrastructure. Yeah, blockchain is just one piece of future social networks. This is my area where essentially I'm coming from the world. But what we also think, or what I think that is happening, is that communication happens more and more live. It's not anymore that important what got published earlier. Of course, sometimes it matters, especially when, let's say, stuff of public value get transferred. You want to timestamp it in public, but generally we live in a more instant and live world. So communication is more and more real-time chats, real-time also video chats, like, for example, also this conference. We will probably see many more, and it's much more, let's say, a rich media type of conversations, and also the mixed reality or augmented reality is becoming increasingly important part for future social networks. Yeah, is there anybody who would like to ask some questions? So I wanted to keep this interactive. Otherwise, I'll just continue. Anybody who maybe wants to disagree with something, maybe somebody who thinks we should not use crypto as the base of the future social platforms we're building. Doesn't seem to be the case, so I'm gonna continue. Yeah, cryptography enables private, but as well as public communication, and also real-time communication. If it's end-to-end encrypted, it helps a lot to have real private conversations on the internet, on the future social networks and social platforms. These communications can happen fully peer-to-peer, and yeah, also with an arbitrary number of people, can be one-to-one communication conversations, or one-to-many, or groups, or even the full world could engage in global public conversations, as well as votes or other things which essentially are required to work on a global scale. yeah. Also, I think that generally these social networks will be very open, and you will not just need to have one cryptographic identity. You can have essentially as many as you like for different use cases. You will maybe have a government verified or approved identity. You will have identity for entertainment purposes or for just communicating with family members. And you will really fully own this identity in case you opt in for the, let's say, full crypto version. There will probably also custodians, which essentially offer you to hold your keys and your other digital assets, which you will probably somewhat control or operate via such a, let's say, decentralized social network. And this is a really important difference. The ownership of the things will be essentially transferred more to the users in the ideal case, and they can then voluntarily opt in, of course, to sell parts of this for whatever reason they think is good. And there will be probably lots of different decentralized marketplaces for essentially data generated out of the users. And also very important to mention is that such things are so critical as a digital public global as well as local infrastructure that they should be open source, they should be verifiable and provable by the general public, by the global community. And this will, I think, improve a lot. There will be also no more big responsibility to just one person, like currently, let's say with Mark Zuckerberg. It's probably impossible that one person just does the right decisions, but it's fundamental, I think, that the power is more at the user sides, and it's not just a centrally managed platform or social network. And I think there are many projects which are going this direction. I want to essentially show this on the example of superhero.com, how we are doing this, and what we believe that we do better. So superhero.com is a social tipping platform, or kind of like a social platform which enables first to send tips to any URL, any web page, which is available on the public internet. And you can also send this to web pages which don't have a crypto wallet yet. They can set it up later in between. Essentially, there's a smart contract which holds this tip for a year for the recipient of the tip. And this way you can essentially reward for good things you find online, just doing a micro tip or micro donation with a few clicks, and saying thank you, expressing that you like this work and that you appreciate this, as well as a side effect. This tip gets shared publicly on superhero.com so that others can also find it and also then retip it, meaning sending more value to the content creator or the owner of the web page. And it's fundamentally also a social platform, but it's fundamentally different than, let's say, Web 2.0 platforms where there's proprietary code. In the case of Superhero, the code is fully publicly available on GitHub as open source, and the kind of like the backend is Aeternity blockchain. So it's a cryptographically secure, publicly available data structure, which is a mix of proof of work and proof of stake. So the miners fundamentally essentially control it, and the users, of course, could essentially just leave this blockchain if they don't like it, or join a fork or something like this. So it's quite decentralized, and you can also run and operate all this infrastructure yourself. And I mean, if you have the technical skills, as well as the superhero backends and the wallets, in the wallets, the private keys, the users are in full control of the private keys, so in full control of their digital assets, which they can then tip to any web page or any other wallet holder. So it's open source, it's cryptographically secure, timestamped, decentralized, and yeah, enables full peer-to-peer transactions, and is integrated with the World Wide Web, with essentially every publicly available web page under a URL. And yeah, the identities are also fully owned by the users, so they can just set up whatever identity they like. And if you essentially do all this yourself, you are really in full control over yeah, the full stack, and can also, of course, join the development or contribute somehow. So it's a global collaboration on this project as well. And yeah, it's also free to use, meaning there's no fee to use it. Just the only fee for the transaction fee is going to the miners. It's very small at the moment as we're speaking. And yeah, so this is, as well as just the launch. So it's first the first superpower for users on Superhero to essentially become superheroes themselves, to reward value for good content or good content causes, or other reasons, whatever they think deserves some value sent. And before that, I was also mentioning that social networks should enable one-to-one communication. This is not what the focus on Superhero is, at least not at the moment. So encrypted one-to-one chats are not something you can find there, but what's probably going to be launching very soon, and I also found out that Reddit is working on something very similar, but rather, let's say, from the Web 2.0 perspective, is to have community tokens to be able that users tip other users with tokens or with coins or with other digital items, as you want to call them. And yeah, have a more trusted and verified experience of social networks through essentially having yeah, real verified interaction and timestamped and verifiable on public ledgers. So yeah, that's, I think, most of the stuff I wanted to talk about today. Are there more questions? Also, yeah, what do you guys think? Any questions? There's something which is really worth still mentioning is also governance or voting. So in a social network, it's not just value transfer, which is quite interesting, but also decisions on essentially how the value should be transferred. So governance on essentially yeah, funds and yeah, other essentially organizations will be necessary to form or be formable out of such open source collaboration and projects. So yeah, any sort of organizations or institutions will kind of either run, let's say, their own social network or participate in an openly available public social network in a way or another. Any comments, any disagreements here? All right. I think this was more or less 20 minutes. Strange to join an online conference without any feedback from any of the moderators or organizers. But I think, yeah, Thank you as well for the opportunity to present here. And want to invite you to join the Superhero League, which is happening right now. The URL is league.superhero.com, or just go on superhero.com and press the button to the league. It's happening right now, and I'm gonna run now to see what's happening there. And yeah, the league is weekly events. We're gonna have many topics. It's a much more interactive event than this Zoom rooms, and is also fully built on 100% open source technology. Cool, bye.